Good evening and welcome to round one of the KCR Simulators F4 US Esports Championship. We're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course. My name is John Phippen. I'm the spokesman for the series in real life. And joining me in the commentary booth is Austin Knight. Hey, Austin.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. It is great to be here back home again in Indiana, and I am certainly stoked about this KCR Simulators F4 US Esports Championship. Fixed setup, weight reduction penalty on these F3 bodied cars, and we're going to be in for a wonderful show here around Indianapolis.
Yeah, doing their best to simulate the actual power and handling characteristics of the F4 chassis, which is obviously non-turbocharged, so they got quite a bit less horsepower than their Formula Regional counterparts. And congratulations to Dakota Dickerson, who won the inaugural Formula Regional Esports Championship and just concluded a couple weeks ago. But we're now giving the F4 guys an opportunity, and this is open to all previous, current, and future F4 drivers. So we're looking forward to seeing a lot of these young men and women joining us once we get our season underway in about a month's time. Simon Sykes setting the early pace in this qualifying session, a very brief qualifying session to set the grid. Victor Anderson, second quick. He was quickest in the pre-qualifying session earlier today. Danny Marco Kasich in the number 6 car up to third spot. Jack Harrison fourth. Chris Long rounding out the top five.
Some chaotic incidents happening in the first sector, the opening sector of the Indianapolis road course. Very little grip out there in probably one of the trickiest corners to actually find a braking point. You can see some cars strewn all over the place. We are in qualifying. Drivers had to pre-qualify just to get into this session. Max amount of pits allowed were 33, but only 23 cars showed up to get the pre-entry into round one here at Indianapolis.
We're following Marco Kasich as he's making his way through the S's, the slowest part of the track, and then they begin this long blast as they rejoin the oval just about at the exit of what would be turn 2, and now up on the oval and almost the entire length of the front straightaway as they go through turn 1 backwards and then up off the banking and onto this long straightaway. And Austin, you were talking to some of the drivers after practice, and that drafting is really going to be a factor down into this first turn.
Yeah, the draft here is very powerful, and especially in these cars with the high downforce setup we got going and the weight reduction, the draft will start pulling your car around 1.5 seconds behind them. So if you're nose to tail of somebody through this opening sector and you got that back long straight to even close out, that it's going to be very hard to start pulling away from drivers around you, and it's going to be for a very competitive race down into turn 1.
Simon Sykes still showing the way as the provisional pole sitter. About 3 minutes remaining in this session, a 1:22.611. These drivers are... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Simon Sykes is one of the hard chargers so far in this series and practice sessions. He was near the top in every single practice session that we were looking in so far. Him and Victor Anderson are going to be the drivers to watch out for in this race, but don't let Muhammad Iberian out of there, and Jack Harrison as well. And all those drivers are in the top 4 and in a league of their own because they're all within 6/10 of each other, and then there's a 4/10 gap to the drivers and everyone else behind it. But just look at their strategy in qualifying. They're riding that draft, getting as much speed as they can. There was some rumors about bump drafting from these guys, which I don't believe is legal. We'll have to talk with the
advisable.
I was receiving a Simon Sykes bump draft in practice, and it wasn't that pleasant, especially the breaking point. And
Ibrahim getting a little cozy with another competitor there as they were coming into the braking zone for turn number 1. looks like he might have some left front suspension damage on that car. So Muhammad Ibrahim will have to try that one more time. Victor Anderson, second quick, going for a quick lap as we follow him in that number 20 car.
Some new faces to the series. This is Chris Long. He's actually a mechanic for a F4 team, and he's currently sitting in 10th place. Beautiful
Good job
car,
for
I must
Chris.
say.
Exactly. These drivers, by the way, are competing for a season-ending championship prize package that includes a full-day test from Global Racing Group in a Formula Regional Americas car, an Olamagato watch, some Bell helmet accessories, and a free balaclava, as well as a 50% discount from our sponsor Sawbelt. The second place winner will win a set of Hankook F4 tires and the Bell helmet accessories and the Sawbelt 50% discount. Third place will win a 3-month virtual trainer from Pit Fit Training and Bell helmet accessories and a 30% discount from Sawbelt. So those are the prizes these drivers are looking for at the end of the 5-race season. Next week, we go to Barber Motorsports Park. Then we head down south to Homestead Miami Speedway on the road course there, and then to my home track, the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And you as viewers get a chance to choose the final track as the fans will choose our season finale venue. Any road course in North America is eligible, and we encourage you to vote for your favorite track for the season finale.
For riding on board with Aaron Roos, you can see he's driving for Wolfpack Esports as he's getting a very healthy tow to Josh Pearson, who went up into 8th place. So some of these drivers working together.
Checker flag is out. These last laps in progress are the finals, which will determine our starting order.
Now, checker flag definitely out, and that was very helpful to Josh Pearson, who did get that very healthy amount of draft to speed him up. A few more drivers finishing out their laps. Andrew Houston dealing with a bit of traffic right now. Looks like he's a teammate with Chris Long. And Aaron Roos as well. He's on board with current provisional pole sitter Simon Sykes. Currently ahead by 0.03 of a second as he's coming down towards the line. I think he's going to be improving. Purple sector 2. And another fastest lap for Simon Sykes, 1:22.401, as Arias gives a bit of a smoke show on the front straight. As here is our grid for the KCR Simulator